Greetings and salutations and welcome to the MCLS Showcase for September 2023. My name is Brian Burchett Ross and I am your host. Last time that we did one of these episodes, we were at the Ellis Library. This time we are at the Dorsch Branch Library here in downtown Monroe, Michigan. Now, I will tell you a little bit more, actually I'm not going to tell you anything more about the Dorsch Branch because we have a video that was made about a year ago from Miss Karen, who does a little tour, did a little video tour of Dorsch. So we're going to share that with you in a little bit. We're also going to have, I have some special guests that have come in to talk about the American Library Association's annual conference that just happened in Chicago back in June. And we'd like to tell you a little bit about what the American Library Association is and why they have the conferences. But first, as always, we need to let you know what's going on in your local branch of the Monroe County Library System. And of course, now that we're doing this remotely, I don't have a teleprompter, so I'm doing it the old-fashioned way, folks. All right. We're going to begin as we always do. Library in motion. And you'd think I'd have this memorized, and I don't. This service is free and eligible to residents of the Monroe County Library System. They provide any circulating material, including DVDs, CDs, magazines, audiobooks, and this means regular print and large print. They'll ask you for your preferred request and set up a delivery date and time. All you have to do is call Library in Motion Senior Delivery Service at 734-241-5770. They visit monthly, that's every 4 weeks. All items will be due in our next visit. Petersburg Novels at Night Book Club. Now this is a monthly gathering and it is held on the second Wednesday of each month at 6:30 p.m. And there's also the Petersburg Book Club, which also meets on the second Wednesday of the month at 4 p.m. Now the folks at the Bedford Library would like you to know that there will be a chess tournament on September 16th starting at 9:30. All supplies will be furnished. Just bring your strategies and go have some fun. Also, the Bedford Library is proud to present author and historian Shauna Major, who presents the history of the Monroe Piers. Now, Shauna is the author of Hidden History of Monroe County, Michigan. This event will be on September 21st from 7 p.m. to 8:30. And over at the Ida Branch Library, they will be hosting Tanner Therese as he speaks about the fascinating hobby of magnet fishing. Tanner Therese has been magnet fishing and releasing videos about his catches since the start of COVID-19 back in 2020. Now, he will be displaying some of the object he has pulled up. He will be talking about this unusual hobby, how he got started, some of his most interesting finds, and the environmental cleanup that he has helped with. He has more than 353,000 followers on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram. By the way, magnet fishing, if you want to know what it is searching inland waters for magnetic objects available to pull with a strong magnet. Now this hobby is a combination of environmentalism and treasure hunting. Now the magnets used are strong enough, listen to this, strong enough to remove large debris like discarded bicycles, weapons, safes, coins, and car tire rims from bodies of water. Now this event is on September 25th in the Ida Branch Library Community Room and will go from 6:30 to 8. Now, if anybody gets interested in this and you all go out there and you find a safe, just remember where you heard it. Okay. Now let's head over to the Ellis Branch Library where they have programs like Shake, Rattle, and Read. This is for babies and their caregivers up to 18 months old, and it will be on Mondays at 9:30 a.m. The preschool story time will be on Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Toddler story time will be held on Wednesdays at 9:30 and 10:30, and you won't want to miss preschool literacy on the lawn on Thursdays at 11 a.m. Now you'll want to check out the new space Ms. Lori has designed for our youngest patrons. It's pretty cool. And they'll finish out the week, Ellis will, with small fries on Friday at 11 a.m. Each week will have a different activity. A complete description can be found on the calendar at MyMCLS.com. Now also beginning Tuesday, September 12th from 2 to 3:30 p.m., they're starting a homeschool book club. The bookworms will be for children 3 years old to 1st grade, and the page turners will be 2nd grade to 6th grade. These groups will be meeting at the same time, just separate locations, obviously. Over at Dorsch, which is where we're at right now, Ms. Karen would like everyone to know that their newest program, called ABCs of Early Literacy, is about to begin. Early literacy means helping your child develop a rich vocabulary and reading comprehension. Join us for a 6 weeks interactive series where we will demonstrate the tools needed to lay the foundation so that your child has the necessary skills to get ready to read. Recommended for ages 3 and up. Registration is required for this program and begins on, which the program itself begins on Tuesday, September 12th at 10 a.m. To register, again, all you have to go do is go to mymcls.com, go to the events page, click on events, you'll see the calendar, find it on September 12th at 10 a.m., click on it, and you can register. Also, on Saturday, September 16th, from 11 a.m. to noon, is their Buckaroo Bonanza. What is that, you ask? Let me read it right from their words. Ahoy, mateys! Dorsch Memorial Branch Library will be hosting a Buccaneer Bonanza. Come dressed in your best pirate slops, that's clothing and pirate talk, and enjoy some games, crafts, and books at this swashbuckling event. Who knows, we might be joined by a special guest, a pirate. And that's the best pirate I can do. Sorry, folks. And finally, from our friends from the Bookmobile. The Bookmobile has a story time at Krepp's Apple Barn, which is at 12500 Minks Road in LaSalle, Michigan. And they are going to be there from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. with story time starting at 10:30 on the following dates: September 28th and October 26th. And finally, don't forget our tutoring program. If you or someone else you know needs some extra tutoring, please go to our website, mymcls.com, and reach out for help. It's just another free service from your friends at your library. But that's just a few of the many programs that we have available. All you have to do is go to mymcls.com and click on events, and then click on the event calendar for a full list of all the fun you can have at all the branches here in Monroe County. Our video this month originally was going to be about our library booth for the Monroe County Fair in 2023. But I had discovered a video that I had helped produce with Miss Karen from Dorsch here that talks about the Dorsch Library and its rich history. And boy, does this building have a rich history that goes all the way back to the Civil War. So without further ado, here's Miss Karen and the story of the Dorsch Library.
Hello, I'm Miss Karen, the youth service technician from the Dorsch Memorial Library at the Monroe County Library System. And today I'm going to show you and talk to you about the Dorsch Library. So as you can see, here's our Dorsch branch, and actually it was a home of Dr. Edward Dorsch, and he was originally a physician that came from Germany. Now he was from Germany, and he was ahead of his times, and he was a firm believer in individual freedom. He was opposed to slavery, and he had ideals that did not coincide with the government in Germany. And he would write articles about this, and in order to escape being prosecuted by the government, he actually fled to America. So he originally was in New York, and when he arrived in New York, he met and married Sophia, and they moved to Detroit. And then when they heard that there was a need for a doctor here in Monroe, they came and settled here at this particular location. So unfortunately, Sophia passed away, and then later on he married Augusta, and they lived here. Now, they were loved the reading, they loved knowledge, and actually Dr. Dorsch was a writer, he was a poet, he was an artist, and he actually is a botanist, and he was actually given credit to having the lotuses that you see along the marsh in the River Raisin. He was credited for doing that. And again, he was a firm believer in no slavery. He was opposed to that. And so it is known that, and it's not written anywhere because, of course, with the Underground Railroad, you don't want it to be known, but he was part of the Underground Railroad. So if you can see how close the location from the library is to the church, there was an underground tunnel in that area. And so what would happen is if they searched his home, they would go to the church. If they searched the church, they would go, so they had that underground tunnel connecting the two. There was also a cistern that they would have, and there was a trap door that they would open up and hide some slaves there, that they would hide there. So now Dr. Dorsch, like I said, he was a firm believer in education, and so he has a wide range of collection of books, and he wanted to donate it back to the public. So he wanted, after his death, his home to become a library. So he passed away, and then later on, Augusta, his wife, wanted to honor that commitment that he had made to the city. So when she passed away, she had willed the library, the building as a library, to the city of Monroe. So after her death, it was a couple of years, they redid it, made it into a library, and so in 1916, it officially opened up as a library. So this building can only be a library. That's all, that they can't tear it down, they can't put nothing else in this location. It must remain as a library. So now we're at the statue of the Little Brown Bear. Now this Little Brown Bear was donated and dedicated to Elizabeth Upham McWebb, better known as Aunt Bet. And why it's the Little Brown Bear is because she wrote some books and everything pertained to the Little Brown Bear. Now, what's so important about Aunt Bet is that when she recorded her books and when she had them published, it was during a time that women usually didn't have their works published. So she had her sister actually work at Highlight magazine and encouraged her to see if she could have her works published. So in 1942, she actually had her first book published. So this was an honor and dedicated to Aunt Bet. And Aunt Bet usually came to the Dorsch Library for many years and would read to the children, and she would actually have a playhouse that's located right across from the Little Red Schoolhouse at the Monroe County Fair, and she would also go there and read for the children there. And it said if you touch the Little Brown Bear's nose, it'll bring you good luck. So we're going to touch its nose. So this is the ginkgo tree that was presented to Dr. Dorsch when he was at Abraham Lincoln's inauguration. It was presented to him by the ambassador of China, and so it was a seedling, and he was so proud of it that he brought it home and planted it in the front of his house. Now this tree, a ginkgo tree, I don't know if you've ever been here when the fruit falls, but it's a horrible smelling, and saying horrible is actually making it sound like it's a good thing because it's an awful smell that they have. And actually this tree though it's actually dedicated to the Michigan historical trees and famous trees of Michigan. And this tree, the ginkgo trees are actually considered living fossils. They're so old that they can actually live for thousands of years, and it actually dates back to prehistoric dinosaur era. One of them actually survived the bombing at Hiroshima. So this is the well that was at Dr. Dorsch's, and actually the saying on here is translated saying pure water is best. And Dr. Dorsch was really a strong believer in a healthy living. And when the soldiers came back from the Civil War, they had what they called it soldier's heart, but what it was PTSD. And so he encouraged, because a lot of soldiers to cope, they did unhealthy things and drink unhealthy things for them. And so he was encouraging people to drink water and to stay healthy, and he always encouraged them to come, and they could always come to his well and get the water if they needed to. Okay, then this is the circulation desk of the Dorsch branch, and over here we have the teen area. We have the CDs, fiction and nonfiction. Now when the building itself, this back portion was added on along with the top floor. It was added on in 1924, and so it actually doubled the size of the building when they added this section on. Okay, this upstairs here is actually the children's section of the library. On this part we have the Children's Easy, the picture books, and on the other location we have the chapter books, the J books, and of course we have the wonderful stage up there that we have We have usually have programs that we have up there, and it's a very nice location. We have a nice area that children really enjoy. Thank you very much for joining me in this tour of the Dorsch branch. I hope you enjoyed it, and please come and visit us. Thank you, and have a wonderful day.
And we are here again at the Dorsch Memorial Library, and we are here to talk about the American Library Association. I have with me three guests: Nancy Belair, the head of our library system; David Burchett Ross, who is head of three branches of the library; and Robin Baberniak. I got it, folks, on the first try, who is a clerk for the Bedford Library. What's interesting is all three of these folks have gone to conferences, except for Robin. This was her very first time. So each have a different take on what on the library conference. But first, I want to talk to Nancy just a little bit and ask her. What exactly is the ALA? Why is it created? And how many years has the library been sending their employees?
Do you want me to hold this?
Oh, yes.
The American Library Association was actually formed by a group of librarians, prominent librarians in the field, in 1876. It was formed as a meeting as part of the centennial celebration for the United States. These were prominent guys in the field, people like Melville Dewey, who we know from the Dewey Decimal System, people like Bowker, who became a very famous publisher, including things like the Publishers Weekly magazine, things like that. But other prominent librarians, Chicago, Harvard, people who are all struggling with the same kinds of decisions and organizational issues. They wanted to learn to work smarter together, and I did write what their mission was, but it's really long, so I need my glasses for this. To provide leadership for the development, promotion, and improvement of library and information services and the profession of librarianship in order to enhance learning and ensure access to information for all. They want to work smarter together and set up some standards. So they started that gathering in 1876. I truly don't know how long the conference has been happening on a regular basis. As far as how long the library system has been sending people, I believe it was from the 70s for sure, so close to 50 years, but I can't tell you before that. I have really, if we've got records, it's going to be on microfilm or something, and truly I didn't look. One of the philosophies about the Monroe County Library System is we do believe in staff education and training, and one of the fabulous things about the conference that has evolved from this first meeting in 1876 is that there's going to be something for every type of librarian. If you're a circulation person, if you're a branch manager, if you're a director, if you're a children's librarian, if you're a cataloger, there's going to be coursework for, or if you're a trustee, there's going to be coursework for you. You can go to the sessions where there's hands-on training, there's experts in the field, there's going to be authors and book talks, and you're going to hear about this from these guys, I'm guessing. But for people like me, I went to some workshops on things that provide services, working with patrons with dementia. I went to a session on that. I went to one on strategic planning. There's going to be sessions on doing staff evaluations. There's so many things on topic and on point, especially this day and age. It's really an amazing thing. If you're a group of people wanting to set up a church or synagogue library, there's going to be a track for you. So it's just a really great area. It's a great thing to come together and see the wide variety of library activities that are happening nationally. So I think that's, in a nutshell, the fastest I can do it.
Thank you. David, now I just want to ask you, how many years have you been going to the ALA, and what are some of your more memorable moments? Excuse me.
I think I've gone 6 or 7 times, I think. I've gone to other conventions, other conferences too, but ALA, I think I've gone 6 or 7 times. Memorable, I got to meet Paula Poundstone and get my picture taken with her. I like the speakers. They have guest speakers. George Sakai was there, lots of other people. And like Nancy said, just going and learning what other libraries are doing and what we're doing, things that we're already doing that we see that other people are doing. Yeah, I think that's it.
Now, down here at the end, is our newest member to go to ALA, Robin. And now, what was it like going to your first conference, and what were some of the things you found the most interesting?
It was amazing. So I was super nervous to begin with because I didn't know what to expect. But I had the best time, and I hope this is first of many conferences that I can go to. I didn't know, being a circulation clerk, I didn't know if there was going to be a lot for me, but there was. There's so many things that I learned that I can do in circulation, welcoming the patrons better. We have problems with teens in our branch, so trying to kind of create an area for them, and just a lot of different things that I can do in the circulation as a clerk. And I also got to meet so many fun authors. Like, I knew they were going to be there. I didn't know I was going to have my picture taken with them. I still have goosebumps knowing that I got to meet like all of these authors that children's books, like the authors that I read to my children, or authors that I love. You know, it was such a fun experience, and I really wish I can do it again. Yeah, it was amazing. And the people that I went with, you guys, including Karen Moore and Adrian, it was so much fun. And it was actually my first time being away from my 2 girls for 5 days. So that alone was huge. So that was fun too. But it was such a fun experience. So thank you so much for letting me go.
Yes. No, I agree with you. This was my first time as well. I've gone with David. David's my husband, by the way, folks. You might see him in Desserts with David every once in a while. It's a great segment. Check it out on the Monroe County Library Facebook page. But I had gone with him a few times just to go out to tag along, but this is the first time as an employee of the library that I got to go into the conference. And I agree with you. The authors that you meet, people that you have admired and seen. There was a new author. He has a cookbook out, and I cannot remember his name now for the life of me. He's on TikTok and he's on YouTube, and he's from this little island down in the around the Gulf and stuff, but and he made his first book, about all these old 1920s and 30s recipes, and he is hilarious to watch. And the Chicago Library Association conference was his first time coming into the States to promote this book. And I talked to his handler afterwards, and she said he was blown away by the librarians and everybody that was there that were just so into what he was doing and his book. So, and I also got to Idina Mendes, who is huge on Broadway and stuff, Wicked and Rent and all that. She was there with her sister promoting their children's book, and she sang. And it was just, yes. Oh, did you take a video of that? It was amazing. But and Nancy is right. There's something for everyone. There were even a few things that I went to that were specifically for what I do, for video production and radio, production and that sort of thing. So it is an amazing, amazing experience for sure. Now, one last question for all of you, then I'll wrap this up. Why do you feel ALA is important, and what does it bring to you personally?
I think it probably brings to me personally the same kinds of things it brings to you guys. It's just a way to be together with people who do the same kinds of things that you do. It's hard to get that kind of experience in any other way. We do some of that locally here in the Michigan area. We do some things by Zoom once a month with other library directors. I think there's about 400 public libraries. So you get a feel for it, but not on the national level, and certainly not for a few days at a time. One of the things that we joke about is that there are shuttle buses provided for us to get us from the hotel to the conference site. And sometimes we feel like we learn as much on the shuttle bus as sitting next to a person from another library as we do at one of the workshops, because you get get a chance for more freestyle discussion. So I think that's probably it. I think the training, there's so much, I didn't even really talk about the business meetings, but there are dozens and dozens of divisions within the American Library Association and Public Library Association, different caucuses, different people that work together to come up with all the rules and regulations on cataloging. Things that we don't ever want to have to worry about, they've already got figured out. It's really astounding. So I think that's it. It's just at a different scale than you can possibly imagine. Now, we're not here to talk about the Public Library Conference, but there is also a gathering of public librarians that meet every other year, and next year that'll be in Columbus, Ohio. So that's nice and close. We'll probably send a contingent to that as well. We also are very cost conscious about our travel. So I think it's fair to say that we choose the cheapest transportation ever. We stay in hotels that are affiliated with the conference, and so we stay in a really nice hotel. In fact, one of our trustees came as well, and he said, wow, it's a little posh for us, isn't it? I'm like, no, the rates are half the price of anything else that you're going to find on the street, because that's how powerful the conference negotiations are with the local vendors. So it works really great. I think that's really it, right? I'll butt in if I think of something else.
That's the same thing. It's a chance to go and see new things, and things to learn to kite back to my staff. Like this time I did my youth service person was wondering about autistic, so there was a session on serving autistic children, so I went to that to get her information. It's just a chance to go meet other people, like I said earlier, and see what we're doing, what they're doing, get new ideas. Even if we're doing the same thing, they have different takes on it so that we can tweak what we're doing or share what we're doing. So I think that's it. It's just a chance to go and see what's going on, and it's kind of cool in the conference center to go look at the new innovative stuff that's coming out, like the technology stuff that's coming out, new things that are happening, to get a chance to play with it without buying it. So I think that's it. It's just a chance to learn and, like Nancy said, meet other librarians, talk about other things, see what they're doing, what we're doing, and what we're doing right. So, yep.
Just to piggyback from you guys, it's pretty much the same thing, but I know everybody is doing this, and there was I didn't realize it was going to be so huge, because it was my first time. I had no idea. And so there's so many of us out there, and you just don't think about that day to day. Just so many librarians, the love for their community and the books and helping their patrons, and it's not just us, and it's just, there's so many of us out there, even in schools and public libraries, and it was just, my eyes were opened so much during that five days. It was just so amazing. So again, hopefully first of many for me.
I also want to say, for me, it was fascinating where we're at in this country right now, and I saw it focus so much on this convention, the idea that there are people that want to restrict what the library can do or what the library can show, and book-wise and that. And it's amazing to me. It made me feel like we weren't alone in the belief that libraries are here for everyone, and everything should be available for anyone who wants to read or have that particular piece of information. And to me, that was my biggest take, was there's a lot more of us than I realized out there. And I think that was awesome. I love that. Well, I want to thank you all very, very much for coming and talking with me about the ALA. And that's it for this month, folks. Until next time, be kind, take care.